which is popularizing what would have been largely an unnoticed underground mimetic movement that is intrinsically occult in nature. It's not just lamestream sort of humor.
Always starts with a smile. Today I just thought I'd come live. Beautiful day, sunny Yorkshire. It's quite rare for us to get snow like we used to in the olden days. And I just thought I'd go outside, use the fresh air, and instead of trying to talk about now, I want to be visionary. We're inside, it's warm, and there's no wind interference. So, thinking about where things are going to go, not talking about specifics, the this, the that, the figure, looking at history, seeing patterns, and thinking about what will actually be used and why. It's a guessing game, isn't it? So this isn't financial advice. Do your own research. But who wants to have a little dream sold to them by a Pisces? Yeah. Okie dokie, pig in a pokey. Let's get going. So we're already seeing second generation platforms having major problems, but in allowing businesses to get started. Yeah, first generation flourishing. Let's look back at the internet revolution and dial-up and all these other models that constantly got evolved. What is the platform that's going to be used? Sure, these are going to, Ethereum and Neo are going to allow businesses to start, but are they going to stay on that platform? There's already moves from a particular coin moved to Stellar Lumens off Ethereum. There are always reasons for these kind of things, and it's no one who actually critically thought about the question is going to give you the answer that Ethereum is going to be the thing that we are using in the distant future. Yeah, it's first generation for its kind. Yeah, so it's about looking ahead, and it's about not thinking about what is, but what can be. Are the big players in the game yet? If there's only a small awareness and we are still a very small community, how much difference is it going to change when there's more brain power inside here? Are there going to be businesses that do singular ICOs? Or businesses like in the real world, in our functioning world, that are conglomerates that cover multiple areas? Are there going to be evolutions in coins technology which make certain coins redundant? So FastPay. When coins fork and upgrade, they can absorb the roles of other coins. It's having that purpose. I'm going to use an example now. Loki is a patency protocol. Basically, you go to them and you can patent your idea. Now, the first thing that they did is they patented their own business idea on the blockchain. So that sector will forever and ever, amen, be Loki. But you cannot patent certain things and evolve and stop other coins from doing it, and stopping people like us from looking around and going, you know, when I left that job, yeah, well, you know that the boss, he switched onto it when you left, yeah, and he started doing his research on the blockchain, and now they're steering their entire business, and what they have is they don't need to put out advertisers, open source advertising staff, because they have a team with a 50-year history. They have connections in the world, established connections. They are a business. Let's not go into the finer details, but they're a business that are changing how they work to use the blockchain, yeah, or changing their business model to fit the blockchain, or lying and setting up an ICO and taking loads of your money, because sometimes you don't need the blockchain for it. It's a big money grab. So, and they can attack multiple sources, and they've got trust, and they've got assets, and they've got things that the cryptocurrency are trying to get by going forwards like this. They've got a brilliant idea, and they're coming, who's coming with me? I need you, and they're getting going, and they're finding the people as they're going along. I mean, it is what it is because there isn't a college, there isn't a history, there isn't a established, defined culture and routes and pathways for the cryptocurrency. It's its emerging world. We're building the pathways, we're building the infrastructure, yeah, and it's finding these people along the way would be very, very dangerous because you have to be aware. How I'm talking has taken me 9 months, 8 to 9 months now, yeah, and I think I know it well enough to talk. So think about how these super duper clever people in their business as companies, if they switched to learning their currency, how fast that they could accelerate. Yeah? It's all about trajectory, what is and what's coming around the corner. Yeah? Decentralized is a word. Now, if you had a centralized exchange, what would you be worried about now? Shit. Yeah? Put that into your head. So let's not think about specific names and figures. Let's think about not getting involved in old business models, things that are going to be replaced, things that are being put onto the blockchain to make the money because there's still longevity and profit in their business model for now. Or thinking about, oh, hang on, what's this idea and concept just starting? And wondering where that's going to be in the future. Do you understand? So emerging new model types of a decentralized nature are going to, are going to be where you need to be looking, not absorbing information. There's so much information out there. Where do you want to get it from? Where do you want to catch it from? At what point? Yeah. Do you want to start eating it at the tail? Or do you want to eat the fish from the head all the way down to the tail and get the whole thing and not get the thrashing tail of some dying business? Yeah. So think of emerging markets, emerging business models and support things that you think are good. Yeah. But another thing is big names and all these ICOs at the moment are getting the saturation. There was a 4 times, 3 times gain you were getting off any ICOs when you were throwing them in at certain points last year. And now it's a different story. And obviously the market's changing. We're living in a cooling climate. It's getting a bit bearish out here. Yeah. So I think now is the time for studying, for thinking outside of the crypto world and using knowledge of, I wonder what those technologies, those geeky stuff I saw on the computer years ago that I've never seen used. I wonder what those repressed technologies are doing now. I wonder if people are building businesses around those. I wonder what's coming around the corner because we know how quickly the world can change. We know how quickly the world is changing. We're living in an incredible time. You just have to put your ear to the ground, yeah, and make sure that you're looking beyond the end of your nose, yeah, looking at certain countries and certain models of where wealth is going to be, looking at success stories on the Western Ethereum blockchain, and then looking at how much value they've made in their ICO, and then going to find that particular model that's coming out on Neo. We'll probably have to get a lottery system for that successful, but there's a reason that it's a guaranteed success at ICO level, because it's a direct copy, yeah, and it's a larger emerging market. Where were China 10 years ago? Where are they now? Where are they going to be in 10 years? Yeah? So one world, guys, and evolution of the blockchain. It is very easy to spot where the money is. If it's been a success on one platform and they are making alternatives on another one, 2 + 2 is 4, quick maths. And taking it forwards, you need to think about patency. A lot of people are forgetting that these new businesses generally spring, the raw content springs from universities that specialise in technologies or this or that. And it's when, excuse me, it is when that you see strong partnerships with universities, that you really can see the longevity of companies for what they have, for why that one, because we move on information and FUD is FUD, but great coins launched properly do well. There are exceptions, like in anything there are anomalies, and this is just my opinion, but it is all about tech and people being aware of tech, yeah? Then the partnerships come. But at the moment, people are trying to tell you that it's this, that it's that, and nobody knows. There's white papers. There's teams out there creating third generation platforms. Yeah, there's platforms that can combine and go across atomic swaps. Loads of fancy words. Yeah, but I tell you what, anyone think worth a salt says, I don't know what platforms they're going to be in the distant future. I know what platforms they're going to be in the short term. Ethereum and Neo. Nobody knows in the future. I presume EOS and ADA will have a fight eventually. That is a presumption, but nobody knows what's going to happen when we get more brain power in, when the tarmac hits the road for some of these ideas, when different super teams come together, such as ADA, and put out, the product, Cardano. When are we going to see these products? When are we going to build the model that the world will use to suit the world? Yeah? No control, which is the best? Will it be advertising, or will it be clever people coming together and other people supporting that and pushing the best idea forwards? And I think it's likely going to be that. I really do. So the future is very uncertain, but I think things will come together. There will be a lot more mergers. Me and Ricky Kaminsky were hashing out this idea of, well, there's going to be mergers. There's going to be coins coming together to produce better coins and codes. There's going to be businesses coming together, yeah? So I don't think that we have seen even half of how big a scale that these projects, because we shouldn't really be talking about the coins, talking about technology, these are just representations, what the projects can do when teams do come together, when they learn off failure, yeah, when they swap team members. People are taking board and buying old code because they see something in old code. People are sticking to Ethereum Classic, hardcore people, for a reason. Everything is for a reason. So you really need to be researching players. Listening to conferences is where the best research is given. I do think on that one as well. And globally, being aware of nations and how that they grow. And if you're here to make profit, you'd probably want to learn where, in what trajectory, different populations GDP are going in, and if they're stationary or if they're going up. Because when the blockchain is introduced to a world, it's going to change the world completely as we know it and equal it out like it should be, I think. Let me think of some more things. Let me wax a little bit lyrical with you. And we have cycles in society, in currencies as well. The pound, the dollar, whatever you want to call it, westernized money. The dollar is one of the longest monetary systems without collapse for a long time. And all things come in cycles. And with Argentina producing things backed by the petrodollar and backed by actual petrol, backed by cryptocurrencies, we can see how this thing can be undermined, how the prominent coin can be undermined, and we know where China's going, and it's kind of a death cycle between want and supply for China, because they don't want to use the dollar, but they do need them as customers, and it's it's at the outside the way the world works. The blockchain is going to prove useful for when old models do break down, and it's seeing where the money will go and having something of real value, and really going back to the fact of, is it real? Because if it does fuck up the world and it does clunk together with debt and arguments and a model, people lose. How civilizations and models collapses, people lose faith. Money is backed by faith. Yeah? People lose faith, and in blockchain, it's another way. It's another way of faith being transferred from an old model to a new model. And going from, it's got to go, the value has got to go from one place to another. And where do you trust? Do you trust the banks? No, obviously you don't. So, and I don't need to use my hands. It's got to go from one point to the other. Yeah. Now, traditionally, there was only one source for this, and this was in materials and heavy metals, in land, in anything, in something that is recession proof. Now, there are three different models. There's a model you're leaving from, fiat. There is cryptocurrency, which is just another storage of faith. But there's no trust issue in there. It's because it's decentralized. There's no trust issue in there. But you have to transfer your faith into that one instead of the currency you back. You chase your faith into that one, or metals or something of value, stores of wealth. Yeah. So it changes the model, and you need to be thinking. I'm going to go through so many letters if I start like that. You need to think, is this business model dying? Is it on the right platform? Does it have a future in a team? Are there any patencies along that way? Yeah. Can someone come in and do this better with a team that no one even knows about now? Yeah. Because you need to really, really remember how early you are in here. I know people keep saying it, and there's less and less people coming through the gates now, guys, as well, because of all this plunge. So we're in here together, and we're going to mature, and we're going to be ready for the next jump, yeah? Cool. So you really need to think, does it have value? Why will people start coming through the gates in the flood next time? There will be a reason. Markets move on psychology, so why would they be coming into the reason in floods next time? Because it's got to go from, 10 times? Something ridiculous gains last year, 17 times, something like that. So we need to really be ready for the jump. Yeah, for the next one. Look at the cycles. It takes about 2 years. I think they're getting faster. I'm not too sure off the top of my head, but I do know I can go look at the cycles when needed to. Do your own research as well. So, does it have value? Is a coin going to be able to take it over, and is a company be able to come in and do it better? Yeah. Google it. Ask Google. Is so and so doing an ICO? What are people looking at? Who's talking? Yeah. Think about it. I looked at the real world. I knew the real world, and I went Richard Branson, a visionary. I wonder what he's interested in. Went and did it. As I was speaking, as I checked it out, Power Ledger. So, I'll look at this because he's looking at it. Yeah. You are not as intelligent as the people that are billionaires because they're billionaires. Yeah. Get over yourself and start thinking, and get over presenters as well. Yeah. Get over presenters, because all our information is secondary, and there's conferences out there and it's just opinions that we're doing. You need to look at the outside world and think about where the world's going. We're in the age of Aquarius, if that means to anything to anybody. So things are going to be changing. So I hope you enjoyed me blathering on, because I like talking, I like dreaming, and I like seeing the bigger picture. And I don't know if I'm right, and I haven't said I know what platforms are going to be, but I don't think the model of business is fully defined yet. We're having presenters just coming on and talking off the top of their head. When things evolve, everything will get better, bigger ideas, and new technologies will be emerged in. So don't for a second think that you know what's going to happen in the distant future. No one's got a crystal ball. In the short future, It's going to be a really boring dip. Find great ICOs that are copies of Ethereum. Buy Neo. See you later.
When we have a political candidate now fixated with an almost morbid curiosity on a cartoon frog, that's the seeping of the occult into the fabric of reality. That's about all. Peace out.